As for the house itself, it respects the landscape and is situated on 2 levels. You first arrive at the upper level, where there is a greenhouse, which is truly luxurious. This is a genuine English greenhouse that was brought over from the United Kingdom and assembled here. There, they grow. In an absolutely stunning living room, there is a central fireplace featuring bronzed glass. Around it, there is a sofa set, which is presented. Hello, friends. Today, we are in the north of Portugal, not far from the city of Ponte de Lima. By the way, this is the oldest city in the country, and today we are going to discover an absolutely magical project. This is an estate called Vinte Quinta da Boavista. So make yourselves comfortable. Today is going to be as luxurious as possible and very interesting. Of any remarkable project is usually connected to a very personal story, and this place is no exception. The current owners, Ella and Sergei, loved traveling around Europe, ended up in Portugal, fell in love with this country, and decided that they absolutely had to have a home here. They searched for a long time in different regions, but one day, while making a pilgrimage along the route of St. James, they found themselves here, not far from the town of Ponte de Lima. They saw this estate and absolutely fell in love with the place. And there is every reason to love it, because this is a historic manor that appeared at the very beginning of the 18th century, and it belonged to the descendants of 2 very noble Portuguese families, the Marinho and the Azevedo. And, in fact, on the main gates of this estate we can see 2 family crests. But the gates, of course, played a very important role in shaping the development of this project, because their silhouette, which must be said is very striking, became the prototype for the identity, became the prototype for the logo, the sketch for which, in turn, was created by the artist David Pintor. And here, as we go along, we will see many examples of his paintings, his rather interesting and expressive drawings. If you know a little Portuguese, you've probably already wondered, why Vinte? What is this quinta about? This number is connected to a very significant event that happened to the owners of this estate. In fact, this project was launched on the 20th of December. And so, this is how they decided to draw attention to it and, above all, to remind themselves of this very significant event in their lives. It should be said that the estate came to Ella and Sergei in quite a sorry state. It required a thorough reconstruction and renovation, which is exactly what they began working on 8 years ago. The first to be tackled was the main house.
This is a historic mansion with the classic configuration of a fazenda, featuring an enfilade layout and a sort of terrace or gallery on the outside.
By the way, we've already come across a similar architectural solution when we traveled to the Algarve and filmed a review of the Montecordino estate, so if you haven't seen it, do take a look. The house underwent quite a thorough renovation and reconstruction. It has retained the features of a traditional Portuguese house, as it is called here. This is a truly national architectural style, and originally, the architect for this project was the rather well-known Fernando Tomar. And even if you don't know his name, you certainly know one of his most famous students. That is, in fact, Álvaro Siza, the first Pritzker Prize winner from Portugal. The house is built from granite. On the outside, we can see the finishing of the building's corners, the plinth, and the window frames, all made from this material. Inside, we see the aesthetic of exposed granite. This is a very typical way of finishing houses, especially in the north. But as for the interior decor, it is, of course, as modern and as luxurious as possible. And, as I said, at the heart of any great project lies a personal story and a personal connection. And here, the owners, especially Ella, who has an architectural background, have truly done an outstanding job. In the absolutely stunning living room, there is a central fireplace featuring bronzed glass. Around it is a sofa set from one of the top Italian brands of upholstered furniture. There are also accent chairs designed by Jean-Marie Massaud. Everything looks very well thought out and extremely luxurious. I also liked the solution with the light switches. No one wanted to spoil the old granite masonry, so they are placed on metal columns installed by the doors. And to further enhance the atmosphere of this old house, mirrored surfaces are used here and there. Next, we move on to the dining room. In fact, when you come here, you'll be having breakfast in this space. Here, of course, special attention is drawn to the luxurious table, which was made by a British cabinet maker. The tabletop is made of vintage wood with a very striking texture. As for the table base, it has a modern interpretation while retaining a classic look and is made from transparent acrylic. In this way, we get, on the one hand, a very striking accent piece, but at the same time it doesn't clutter the space and looks very airy. In the corner of the dining room, there used to be a traditional Portuguese hearth. A fire would be lit on the floor, a spit placed above it, and meat roasted. Of course, in a modern context, that's not particularly convenient. So, the old hearth was carefully dismantled and a new stove with an open firebox was built in its place, finished with traditional Portuguese azulejos. It's also worth paying attention to the paintings in the dining room. The artist behind these paintings is Olga Asnaj, who specializes in contemporary still lifes, and they can certainly be found in this space as well. Olga also worked on the design of the mirror in the reception area. It is inspired by that very same blue azulejo painting, but with appropriate subjects. In this bathroom, there is also a wash basin made from an oil drum, designed by Patricia Urquiola in a contrasting finish. A similar model is also installed in the toilet next to the dining room, and there is one very cool, in my opinion, design feature there, created by Ella. It's the transfer of the profile of this wash basin, this silhouette, onto the design of the door. And this combination of finishes and the way the profile is carried over, I find to be quite an interesting approach. The kitchen here looks as luxurious as possible. It is also the work of the finest Italian cabinet makers. I really like contrasting finishes. Here you can see exposed wood, paint in a very complex shade of green, some metallic accents, and of course, natural stone. All of this creates a truly elegant look. You'll be able to visit this kitchen again when you come here for breakfast. In the right wing of the main house is the reception. There is also a small bar and a cellar with local wines. Let me remind you that this area is famous above all for its white wines, the renowned Vinho Verde region, and they are produced here as well, because you can see grapevines here and there. Just below the reception, there is also a very interesting landscaped area. An amphitheater has been built here, possibly for theatrical performances. Perhaps you could perform in front of your guests if you come here with friends. There is also an artificial lake here. The frogs there croak very charmingly. There is a pond, and really, every single corner here is its own striking scene, offering unique visual experiences that are hard to put into words. And of course, these are all very positive experiences. Once you've had your fill of admiring these views, it will be time to freshen up. And for that, the swimming pool is just perfect, as it too boasts an absolutely luxurious view. You can see the main house, the valley, and the hill, the green hill, ahead. Since we are, after all, in the north of Portugal, it can get a bit chilly here at times. And to warm yourself up a bit, there's also a sauna available here. After you, it's the perfect time to relax. Let's take a look at the accommodation options and the interior design of the cottages on offer here. Here we have two historic buildings before us. The first is the estate keeper's house, the caseiro, as it is called here. This is a granite house that has been carefully restored and turned into accommodation. Inside, there is a spacious living room, a kitchen, and then 2 bedrooms. The master bedroom, of course, has an en-suite bathroom. The color scheme is quite restrained. I really like the combination of colors and textures. The bathrooms are very well designed. Traditional patterned tiles are used there. In other words, you could say it's an imitation of historical tiles. Naturally, with certain textures characteristic of the region. but the fittings are as modern and as luxurious as possible. And this same caretaker's house is connected to the family home via a hidden patio. And this is truly the height of luxury. It's the most luxurious living arrangement you could possibly imagine, because essentially, this is what the family home is in terms of layout. But originally, it was created by the owners of this estate as a house for their children. There are 2 children's rooms here, and of course, a master bedroom. All of them open out onto the living room and the kitchen dining area. I really liked the kitchen worktop. It's made from a wooden slab with a raw, rustic edge. The master suite is absolutely luxurious, because here you have the bedroom, and from the bedroom, you enter a rather spacious walk-in wardrobe and then proceed to the master bathroom, which features a shower cabin with the famous shower lamp by the Japanese designer Oki Soto from the Nendo studio. There's also a bathtub, of course, a toilet and a bidet, and a very convenient wash area with a mirrored cabinet. The mirrored cabinet, by the way, is also a really great feature, and you don't often see that in hotel projects. And, by the way, there's an adjoining room to the bedroom, to the master bedroom. Initially, this was a children's room for a small child, but now it's essentially used as a study. And perhaps it can also serve as an extra sleeping area. And then there's this. Combining the 2 houses is very popular with companies who come here for a holiday. They can rent both houses and spend time together, including in this wonderful patio. There's an open kitchen here, carved from a single piece of granite. There's also a grill with a chimney, so you can cook something right here, have lunch, and then have a nap with the scent of smoke lingering. And of course, the view from here is absolutely fantastic, and the smell is amazing too, because right in front of us is a citrus grove with lemons and oranges that are in bloom at the moment. And this fleur d'orange creates simply a magical fragrance. You quite literally immerse yourself in it, in nature, and get immense pleasure from it. Next, a small house for one of the main local residents. And here at the estate, they pay attention to the comfort of absolutely everyone. This includes a summer house for the dog, and of course, a luxury chicken coop. But as for, say, the former tractor shed, it is now a children's club, a playroom with a very interesting interior design. And this, you could say, is a prime example of camouflage architecture, because the walls are mirrored and feature images of birds of prey. By the way, that's not by chance either. And this former tractor shed now blends in with nature and doesn't disrupt the smooth flow of your gaze across the landscape. In good weather like today, no one is going to stay indoors. And there are plenty of such places here. Spots for outdoor activities. Well, firstly, there are some children's amusements, a playpen, a climbing wall, things to climb on. Secondly, there's a court for ball games, for basketball, maybe volleyball. And, by the way, it's also quite interestingly designed and in some way echoes this citrus grove. So you can choose which team you want to play for, the oranges or the lemons, and enjoy the fresh air, the game, and spending time with your friends. You can also enjoy spending time with your friends in the area set aside for parties and events. It's located opposite the so-called jam house, and the jam house is quite literally a professional kitchen where preserves are made, and you can cook jam and take part in this lively culinary activity. All the basic ingredients are grown right here in a special greenhouse and in the vegetable garden. And the greenhouse is the most luxurious one I have ever seen. It's a genuine English greenhouse, brought over from the United Kingdom and assembled here. There they grow, of course, greens and various aromatic herbs. In the vegetable garden you'll find artichokes, onions, carrots, cabbage and asparagus. And you can try all of this here, or, if you wish, you can even cook it yourself. We got a cottage at the top of the estate. It's actually called the house above the vineyards, and from here, there's a stunning view of the Pinot Noir vines. Yes, in the Vinho Verde region they produce not only wonderful whites, but also rather refined reds like these. As for the house itself, it respects the landscape and is set across 2 levels. You first enter the upper level, where you'll find the living room, dining area, and kitchen. And I must say, everything is decorated with great taste, and all the equipment is of very high quality. That goes for the furniture as well as the household appliances. Here, German household appliances are used. It's remarkable that the hob has a built-in extractor fan. You don't often see that even in good homes, and in hotel projects it's extremely rare. The same can be said for the worktop. It's made from natural granite, and the sink, also from a well-known German manufacturer, is made from composite granite. A good living room has space for a fireplace, and one has been provided here as well. The color scheme echoes the palette of the traditional tiles, which have a white background and a delicate blue shade. Next, we move on to the bathroom. It's located behind a concealed door that blends seamlessly into the wall. Inside the bathroom, once again, there is top-class equipment from one of the best German manufacturers. A spacious walk-in shower, a bowl-shaped sink, and of course, a couple of toilets and a bidet. What is very important for the northern region, a heated towel rail has also been provided here. And in general, as far as the climate is concerned, everything has been thought through here as well, so it will be comfortable both during the rather hot summer months and in the cool winters. We go down the stairs to the bedroom. The sense of space and air here is simply stunning. In the same way, this air and light come in through the generous glazing, once again with a view of the vineyard and the nearby hills. Here, it's worth paying attention to the headboard in the bedroom. It features a carved outline of those very historic gates of the estate. There is a small workspace and also a hanging chair, which is undoubtedly the highlight of this space. The color scheme of the bedroom echoes the shades of green that surround this little house. I also really liked the floor tiles here. It's an imitation of vintage floorboards, which, overall, also fits the context. Outside, I noticed two owl figures. They serve not only a decorative purpose here, but also scare away woodpeckers, who liked the house so much that they decided to make their nest here and started damaging the walls. And so, in this original way, the problem was solved, which is also quite convenient, as there is a beauty salon opposite our house. Naturally, it has a hairdresser's and stylist's room, as well as massage rooms. And here you'll also find a small library where you can while away the time if you're a bit tired from walking or while waiting for your stylist or massage appointment. It should be said that, unlike the previous buildings, our house and the houses opposite are new constructions. That is, they are not reconstructions, although there used to be a building on the site of our house as well, which was used for utility purposes, but it was dismantled and, accordingly, an entirely new building was erected.
And right at the very top are the latest additions to the collection of accommodation options at this estate. They are perfect for those who prefer a more secluded getaway. Firstly, there are two apartments, the Olive apartment and the Lavender apartment. This is probably the most compact accommodation option here, if you can even talk about compactness in this place at all. Because, essentially, in terms of their features and rooms, all the options here are suites, and these are compact suites. The names of these rooms reflect their color schemes. Accordingly, one apartment is lavender, the other is olive. Each of them has a small kitchen living dining area. I really liked how the space under the roof has been designed. Thanks to the mirrored panels, there's an added sense of spaciousness. The headboard also looks fantastic, with its delicate LED lighting, once again echoing the silhouette of the gates and, accordingly, the logo of this estate. And of course, it's great that acoustic comfort has also been taken into account. I really liked the drapery made from the typical woolen fabric that's characteristic of northern Portugal. It's called bural. This drapery adds both texture and addresses a very important issue that, unfortunately, many people underestimate. The lavender apartments are the most compact. Here, there's a small bedroom and also a little kitchenette. And in both apartments, the bathroom is very comfortable and perfectly adequate in terms of equipment. If seclusion isn't just a whim, but a special occasion in your life, then the Juliet Cottage is on offer. The Juliet Cottage is a luxury suite, a honeymoon cottage, and it's also arranged over 2 levels. You enter this cottage from the top level. Once again, you're greeted by a living room, dining area, and kitchen. It's worth noting the recreation of a historical hearth here. There's a real wood-burning stove installed, which is absolutely brilliant. So, if the new wife wants to impress her newlywed husband with her culinary skills, she'll have every opportunity to do so. It's fantastic that they've recreated the historical silhouette of the hearth. And here, a column has been used, which was cleaned and installed in this spot. Originally, it was located in the main house of the estate. There's also a small storage system here, as well as a toilet with a porthole window hidden behind a concealed door. We're heading downstairs. And down there, of course, is a luxurious bedroom for the newlyweds themselves. I really liked the headboard. It's 3-layered, and there's also a certain allusion to the silhouette of those very historical gates, but the reference is less literal and, perhaps because of that, looks even more original. Here, in this open space, there's a freestanding bathtub opposite a mirrored wall. The wall is made of aged mirror, and all the other sanitary facilities, of course, are hidden away in a separate bathroom. There, once again, you'll find a toilet, a bidet, and a spacious walk-in shower. Here, antique furniture is used, which has been carefully restored and turned into a wash basin area. And in my opinion, the main advantage of this house, as with all the others, is the view. Here, you step out onto the terrace and find yourself in an absolutely fantastic eucalyptus forest, and the scent matches as well. I find it very charming that everywhere you look, there are unusual details, sometimes quite ironic ones. This is a hammock that practically smiles at you, or the paintings, which are also often rather ironic and sweet, or some antique historical features that are given a modern twist. And here, I'm certain that not a single historical feature from the 18th century has ended up in the rubbish tip. In terms of food, the estate is practically self-sufficient because it has absolutely everything. There are vineyards, and they produce some very decent wine. It's a very limited edition, so most likely you can only try it here. There is an olive grove here. Accordingly, they produce their own olive oil here. There's a vegetable garden, there's a chicken coop, so you get the freshest vegetables, herbs, salads, and of course, fresh eggs will definitely be served to you for breakfast. People often say about such projects, it's made as if for themselves, but I think the key difference between this project and similar ones is that here, they really did make it for themselves. And that means that absolutely nowhere, in any place or in any detail, have any compromises been made. The very best architectural solutions have been chosen, the finest decorative materials, and the best equipment. And when you come here, you truly find yourself in an absolutely unique atmosphere of hospitality. You feel as though you are visiting your best friends. And this feeling is further enhanced by the fact that Ella, the hostess, is genuinely very actively involved in interacting with all the guests. Friends, Portugal is undoubtedly very diverse, and when you find yourself here, I highly recommend that you pay attention to the north of the country. Here, the landscapes are absolutely stunning, with green hills, very warm and welcoming people, and an interesting cuisine. And of course, when you are here, I highly recommend that you visit the Quinta de Boavista estate. And it's well worth it, because the estate is developing, and in the near future there will be new opportunities for leisure and entertainment here. A pavilion for yoga will open soon, and a gastronomic restaurant will appear. And a little later, a completely new hotel with rather remarkable architecture will also be built here. I will be keeping an eye on the development of this project and highly recommend that you do the same. And of course, come here, relax, enjoy these wonderful pastoral views, and recharge with energy and good spirits. See you in the next video. And for this one, of course, give it a like, write something nice, and share it with your friends. Let more people find out about such a wonderful place. Bye.